Yeah, so United is continuing to show their dedication to the international long haul market, which is a big deal because they're going to offer more flights out of the United States to more destinations internationally than anyone else in North America. And this is going to be a huge plus for those passengers who will be looking to fly internationally. And adding this San Francisco Melbourne service, which will be, once again, one of the longer flights in the world. This will be approximately, if I had to guess, about a 14 or 16 hour long flight. So quite long. And this will be a great addition along with the partnership with Virgin Australia. It just looks really good overall, and I think this is a great partnership that they are adding. Another fleet news item that we're going to add on really quickly is Turkish Airlines' brand new biofuel livery, because Turkish Airlines, like United Airlines, is going to start experimenting with biofuels. Hard to pronunciate. And so this aircraft is registered as Tango Charlie Juliet Sierra uniform, and my account.
Our next article for today is United flight attendant who pretends to be a U.S. Citizen was sentenced, unfortunately. This is pretty unfortunate. This guy was actually with United for over 20 years. His name was Richard Gondez, I believe is how you say it. Hopefully I said it out right. But yeah, he was a flight attendant for United Airlines, but unfortunately he has been removed due to not being a U.S. citizen. So unfortunately, just comes back to the principle of following the guidelines of what may be happening. You can only get around it for so long, and obviously, despite getting around it for 2 decades, he was able to get around it. So this was in September of 2021, it would appear. A fake statement on a passport application was the reason that this got busted. So yeah, really, really unfortunate. Solid quote here from a hearing from Judge Hanks. He had to say, "A good man who basically made a very tragic mistake to fulfill his dream," which... It's really tough. It's really tough for sure with the guidelines and restrictions that we have in the U.S. aviation market. So, again, it's just one of those deals that is unfortunate, but hopefully he'll be able to find something to do going forward in the future. So, definitely unfortunate for sure. Let's take a look. Yeah, it's the 4th paragraph. Second one came crashing down in Houston. This week's U.S. District Judge George C. Hanks Jr. sentenced him to the time that he already had certain custody, 1 day short of 7 months, so over half a year. Yeah, so he's really definitely probably getting the better deal of that for sure. Our next article up is Air Baltic plans Amsterdam flights to the new Tampa A220 base, which is really exciting. So Air Baltic, of course, they've been going really strong with these A220s, and now they're going to be operating its new base out of their Finland and or that's actually the city, I think, Tampa, Finland, which is really exciting. So that's going to be another destination for Air Baltic, which will be awesome. So, yeah, it's really cool to have a nonstop flight there. I think that'll be a really nice link. Eager to see what kind of market that's going to bring in. I thought that KLM maybe would have had something like that, but no, it's going to be Air Baltic, which will be starting, which is very exciting. So, again, you can definitely look at it from 2 different ways. I think that it's going to be awesome to have Air Baltic on such a unique service. So, yeah, not a terribly long flight either. I think it's about a few hours. So, definitely a solid service right there for Air Baltic, and I'll be excited to see how it goes down there for them. Alrighty, everybody, I'm going to be taking another consecutive article because Citrus is going to be is having camera issues, unfortunately. So just yell out loud if you want to, Citrus, when your camera's working, and I'll just take everyone for the moment. So not going to get speed run, but we're definitely go through them. So next up, taking action inside, Southwest Airlines has an awesome 10-year sustainability plan. Southwest, just a really consistent airline as a whole unit. They do a great job. One of the most unique airlines for sure. I feel like they take elements from everybody and put it into one, which is really awesome. Put it into this really nice low cost fare market. Lots of people love Southwest, whether you're flying for them, flight attendant for them, frequent flyer, whatever the case may be. A lot of people love Southwest Airlines. They love it, LUV. So really happy with their efforts here, and they're doing really good for where they are now. So they really came back strong compared to other airlines. So was really happy with their efforts, and I'm excited to see what they'll do. They got their Maxes back, which is huge. They obviously got Max 7s on the way as well. So by 2030, they want to replace replace 10% of their jet fuel consumption with sustainable aviation fuel, which seems like that's definitely the way we're going. So eager to see if there'll be any hiccups in the road getting to sustainable fuel, but I think it's going to be absolutely awesome. So really excited. So they're looking to get started with this as soon as 2026. And just as a whole unit, Southwest is going to be doing great. So very excited with their efforts there for sure. Very nice. Next up, United Airlines added a flight simulator to its app, and I got to try this. So this was pretty darn cool. So quite frankly, this was definitely one of the most unique assets I would have ever expected for an airline app. So you can literally get on the United Airlines app. I'm pretty sure you can go into the More section where they have the games option. They have a flight simulator, so you can fly a United Airlines 787 around. They have different takeoff and landings at San Francisco. It reminds me a lot of the Space Shuttle simulator, if you guys remember that from back in the day. Very similar vibe to that, which is really cool. Very basic, so anybody can utilize the asset. It's such a cool unit, and definitely something cool to do if you're on a United Airlines flight, or just in general if you're, I mean, it's comparable to I'm not saying it's Infinite Flight by any means or any other mobile flight simulator, but it's pretty solid. So very cool unit, and yeah, it's really nice to see that. So that's very cool to say the least. Next story up is Allegiant Air reveals its Q1 2022 results, and it was looking pretty good for the most part. So they were revealing revenue over $500 million, which is awesome. So this is a 10% increase for the same period in 2019. So Allegiant, you're doing good. I can't believe it. The only problem is you suspended 100 routes going into April, but that's despite the point here. So 3.7 million passengers in the period, which is awesome. That is up 8% right there. And the average load factor rose by 0.4% to 86.5. Allegiant, that is really darn good. I have to give it to you. I'm not going to say that you're the best airline out there, but to pull in those kind of numbers, that's really awesome. So Allegiant as a whole unit, that's really nice. Average. They are with their average fuel cost per gallon at just slightly over $3, which doesn't seem to be too bad. So that's pretty nice. I'm sure that's going up, but yeah, they definitely took advantage of it. That's for sure. So really cool to see Allegiant. Their maxes will definitely be interesting going forward. And yeah, it's going to be an interesting transition, but I think they definitely got it under control to say the least.
And
next thing. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
There's Citrus.
I just commented on a couple of things. My camera had a technical problem, so I came back to that. Allegiant is performing very well on a bunch of their routes. They serve a lot of secondary and smaller markets that are really not solved a whole lot by ULCC, such as Des Moines is a big example. They've been doing really well recently, and they're having to cut routes mostly because of pilot shortages, but that's mostly out of their control. There's not a whole lot they can do about that. With the Air Baltic base, I want to say that's Tampere, Finland. I'm not sure.
Yeah, sorry about
someone
that.
tell us how that's pronounced, please. We're not exactly sure, but it's a city in Finland. And Air Baltic expanding to Finland makes a lot of sense because the Baltic Sea does actually go between Sweden, Finland, and the Baltic states. So it's a fairly large area that Air Baltic could theoretically operate out of. So the secondary base, particularly considering that Finnish and Latvians often will travel between the two countries, so I think that this new secondary base is a big addition to the airline. Great move by them. And yeah, with the person who saw the sentence for being in essentially walking the United States illegally, please don't do that, guys. It's not worth it. I understand the dream of wanting to be a flight attendant, but there are ways where if you live in another country, you can get green cards and visas to walk in the United States for the airline industry. There are ways around it. Now, you're supposed to be a U.S. citizen, but there are some loopholes in which you can come through and still walk in the United States as a flight attendant, or even better yet, just move to the United States.
Another thing to consider is, unfortunately, he may not been able to know since he started back in the 2000s, but definitely a great.
Well, the things he wouldn't know, because when you apply on the job, when you apply for a job, there's paperwork that you go through that verifies you are in fact a United States citizen.
No, I meant in terms of outlets to find ways to be or get around the U.S. citizenship.
I know this is going to sound harsh, but he should know better. If you wanted to find that information, you could have found it. So. I just don't really have a whole lot of tolerance when people break the law. I'm just sorry about that. I just don't. But if you want to do it, you can do it legally.
Next up, Velo Airlines offering a 30% discount on all their routes, which is quite interesting. So this discount's running from May 1st to June 22nd, which is quite interesting. So you can expect a big decrease going here. It's still crazy to think about. Velo is based in Houston, guys. Keep that in mind, which is quite interesting. But they announced that they'll be discounting the sales, which is going to be quite interesting. So you're going to find one-way fares for around under $97. So Velo was simply founded with the purpose to inspire travel. This special offer is one of the many ways we are making travel more affordable and easier for our customers. As we quickly close Velo's first year anniversary, which may have already happened at this point, we remain committed to offering the choice, convenience, and affordability of our customers. Tell us why we love Velo. That's what Chairman and CEO Andrew Levy said. So definitely a way to put it. And yeah, Velo's growing, man. They are getting big, and it's really exciting to see. I have a long range of standing routes, a variety of routes on the East and West Coast, which is absolutely awesome. And I'm excited to see where their progression is going to go. Of course, they got the 737, 700s, and 800s going. I think they even got New Haven's runway getting extended so they can get 737, 800s in there. Tampa Airport Spotting on Instagram posted a great load factor comparison. But it appears to be that their New Haven base is thriving with 75% plus load factors on all the routes. Burbank's still doing pretty well. It's seeing about 60 to 80% on most of those. So I think if they make some happy medium adjustments as necessary, they'll be good to go in that department. So Velo, keep up the great work. Hopefully this 30% discount isn't a bad thing by any means. I'm trying to discount the price to get more passengers on board, but hopefully it's just maybe a one-year anniversary perk or something along those lines. Who knows, but really nice to see for Velo nevertheless.
So Velo has been offering a 30% discount, and I do believe this is a first anniversary thing. So if you want to fly cheap on a Velo, I might try it out just to see how awesome it is. But because I haven't tried the airline, but they have been performing really well on the New Haven service, which I was a bit surprised by because I didn't think it'd do well, but it did. And I think a lot of that has to do with it's an alternative to places like Boston, New York, Buffalo, airports like that. And I think that a lot of people are interested in the prices, and the alternative for a fairly large market, I think it's going to do quite well. So it'll be very interesting to see how that does. Now the Burbank service apparently is not doing quite as well because people aren't going to California for a multitude of reasons, which I won't get into because some of it gets political. But California not doing as well in the aviation market as the Northeast is right now. But Velo, I think they're doing all right. I was concerned at first when I saw a 30% discount. I was like, okay, are they having some issues? But once you look at load factor and such, they seem to be doing all right. So I think they'll be good to go here for a little while. The next one, this is huge news. But Turkish Airlines posted their Q1 2022 results, which included a $161 million profit. This is massive. The airline made $161 million in profit. This means airlines are returning to profitability, which is great because a lot of mainline carriers offer profit-sharing structures for their employees. That means employees will actually get a nice little bonus due to the profit, which is great for all the people who work for the airlines, as well as the airline can in many cases offer more competitive routes and prices. And also, Turkish Airlines being based out of the new Istanbul airport is working great for them. This airline is on the cutting edge of a modern premium airline based in Istanbul. They're doing great work. If you want to fly on them, I recommend it. Great quality airline. And things are going up for them. And airlines, once again, are recovering from the pandemic. Again, Turkish Airlines is making profits like they were pre-pandemic. So Turkish Airlines pretty much has recovered. Most airlines here in the United States have recovered. And I think 2022 will be the great recovery year where things have returned to normalcy.
Absolutely, and keep in mind they're expanding a lot, which is really exciting. So Turkish as a whole unit, what a job they're doing. Really happy with those efforts. Unfortunately, on the contrary, Peru, Latin America connectivity at 41% compared to 2019. We've been talking about great load factors all of this episode, but one weak link right here is South America, unfortunately. We're really struggling in this department, and there's a variety of reasons that we have that. So like I said, 41%, which is really tough, but at least we're seeing a little bit of encouragement with airlines doing a little bit better, and especially going into 2022, it's been pretty good. So as a whole, of course, we've seen a variety of airlines operating in the regions that have contributed to this. one big key of this is LATAM being in good financial shape is really going to be helpful. So it appears to be that hopefully they're going to be coming out of their Chapter 11 bankruptcy that they protected back in 2020. So that will be a really big W for them to get out of that. So they have a proposed $8.2 billion capital infrastructure, which should be pretty good there, and I think that will really help them out going forward. So that's going to be very helpful for them. And there's a variety of airlines that have contributed to the 41%. I hope it gets better. I hope by the end of the year, if they could even get it to somewhere close to 70, I think would be great. But again, it's just going to be one of those deals that it depends on how far that they're able to make it through. But again, there's a lot of contributing factors to this. Hopefully the pandemic continues to improve, but I think if they can get that number brought up a significant amount by the end of the year, that would be great going forward for them.
Next up, Delta Airlines and Rex Air are to start a new partnership. Now this partnership program is to start later this year, and a lot of details are not out yet about it, but this offers greater flexibility to both Rex Air and Delta Airlines customers. For example, if you want to fly from, say, Des Moines, which is my hometown airport, to Canberra in Australia, you can now do that with the new Delta Rex Air partnerships. You can book a Delta ticket that'll take you to Canberra, and so you fly, say, Des Moines to Minneapolis, Minneapolis to Los Angeles to Sydney, and then you get on Rex Air from Sydney to Canberra on a Delta Airlines ticket. Similar, vice versa, if you want to go from Canberra to, say, Los Angeles, 2 flights, one on Rex Air, one on Delta, and you can book it on a Rex Air ticket. This will be fantastic. This will also include baggage handling and points sharing. So your Delta Airlines flight can count towards your Rex Air miles and vice versa. So great new partnership that these two airlines are going to have. It just allows for a little bit more streamlined service from the United States to Australia and vice versa.
Absolutely right on that. Really happy to see that partnership, and I think it's going to be great for both those airlines. Next in line, Air Canada is planning to operate at 80% capacity this summer, which is pretty awesome. Now, keep in mind this may be pending due to unfortunate economic issues, but we'll go into that here as we speak. So one thing that's going to be big for this going forward is depending on the fuel prices. So at this time, it looks like they're going to be staying pretty high, so that's probably unfortunately going to help delay the rebound, which is very unfortunate. Hopefully this gets improved, but we'll have to keep an eye on it. This is going to be a lot of aviation news going forward, unfortunately. It's just going to be watching the situation. So just going to have to keep an eye on it, but we'll see what happens. The good news for Air Canada is that they have plenty of staffing, which is awesome. So no pilot shortage or anything. There was a couple things that they had to say on this. Pilots are not an issue at Air Canada. Given the number of wide bodies that we have in the fleet, we are a desirable employer to come to, which is a fair statement. Air Canada is one of the biggest airlines in Canada. I think that there's definitely plenty of pilots looking for a job there, so maybe a little bit different than the U.S. considering what kind of geographic location Canada is and just what kind of travel they have in general. And then it appears to be that the recovery is going to be pretty good in the summer is what it's looking like. Here's a quote right here from, I'm probably going to botch this pretty bad, Mrs. Goldblum. I'm not going to try, but she said, this summer we'll be at nearly 80% of 2019, and we're going to target to be the closest to full recovery during 2024, which is quite far out, but we'll see what happens. Our strategy is focusing on our hubs and growing their respective global connectivity, focusing on the sixth freedom transit traffic to and from the United States, and focusing on a leisure VFR or visiting friends and relatives, not visual flight rules. Travelers will pay dividends. Our advanced bookings are accelerating and continue to meet our expectations. So that's good to hear as a whole that they're definitely getting there, but it's just going to take some time. So Air Canada as a whole unit, I think they're going to keep progressing well, and I'm hopeful that going forward that they'll be back to full capacity hopefully very soon.
Yeah, good news for Air Canada. And I definitely am also very optimistic about the recovery here in 2022. 2023 and beyond is a bit more question, but I think 2022 will be a booming year for the airline industry, and I think Air Canada is correct on that assumption, and, well, not just an assumption, but a prediction. So, Wizz Air sees a 540% passenger increase year on year, and once again, I believe these are according to March 2022 numbers, and this is a significant increase. Any airline seeing a 540% increase in almost any span of time is incredible, let alone year on year. And so this is fantastic for Wizz Wizz Air to see the significant growth, and it definitely shows that the airline industry is moving in a very positive direction. And yeah, they're growing at a significant rate, almost an unsustainable rate, to be honest. But this is really incredible that they are doing really well. Yeah, but Wizz Air is once again expecting a very large number of passengers to fly on them in the summertime, which I think this summer is going to be historic. We're going to say that several times in this episode, but this will be a historically high summer for people traveling. So if you're non-resident, that's really bad news for you. But everybody else, yeah, there are going to be some packed airplanes, and it's going to be a good time for plane spotters, and I think this will be a really, really interesting time.
Very excited for the progression there. That's going to be a W. Wizz Air is doing their thing, which is an absolute W. Next in line, Air New Zealand plans to refurbish its Auckland headquarters, which is really cool. So looks like they're going to be working on the office to work on the whole airport as a whole, and it looks like a new hangar as well, and just revising the whole airport as a whole. So it appears to be that the airport is fairly set back to 1960s, 1970s, 1980s when they built most of this stuff, which is kind of definitely, I think, time for some work on that. So that's really cool that they're going to be going to work on that. One really interesting thing to note here is that, sorry about that, guys. What I was going to say that New Zealand's been completely locked down for the most part for the last 2 years. So it's been one thing that they've been really trying to get pushed back. And I feel like this is a really nice new vibe to get Air New Zealand and just New Zealand in general back into the swing of things, which is really cool. So really excited to see new hangar. I think they're going to do really good with their new buildings and everything for dispatch and whatever else they may be working into that. So that's really, really exciting for Air New Zealand. I think it's going to be an absolute W. Really pleased with those efforts right there. So very, very nice.
My 17, clear to land. Clear to land, runway 17, come on, 257 Kilo Alpha.